Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adams, my platform to become your spiritual server. And welcome to your full moon in Sagittarius report. Really excited to be making this video for multiple reasons, which I of course will explain later. Let me mess with my computer a little bit because something just sort of came up on here. I want to make sure that we're all good to go. Let's see. What happened here? Hold on, guys. Just give me 1 second. For some reason, my recorder on my computer just kind of stopped suddenly. So we're going to go ahead and fix this and get this started. But anyways, how are you all doing today? Hope you all are enjoying the moment, enjoying this full moon energy. I've already been kind of meditating myself. And by meditation, I mean dancing and listening to music. I do have some music on in the background. Don't know if you guys can hear it. I deliberately set the volume to 8 because this full moon is happening at 8 degrees. So that was very deliberate. Let's see. Good. Alright. So now I got the computer working. I don't know what happened because I like to try and sync up because I like to record on my computer and my phone at the same time. I like to try and sync it up, but that's okay. We will work with the energies. Already getting a little bit of interference. Look at that. Welcome to your video today, guys. Hope you all are enjoying the moment. And we have a very, very powerful full moon. In fact, as I'm recording this, the moon will apex about 19 minutes from now. So we are certainly in the full moon phase. It apexes around 10:19 Eastern Standard Time. And at the time that I'm saying this in this recording, it's 10 o'clock a.m. So we are right there. What is this full moon talking about? I'm sure you guys probably have watched quite a few videos on this and what's happening. I like to think that I do have a rather unique perspective on this. Why? I happen to have my natal ascendant at 8 degrees of Sagittarius. So I'm feeling this directly. It's kind of crazy because the new moon in Taurus that we had 2 weeks ago, that was actually exactly opposite my natal sun. And now we get this full moon in Sag, which is right on top of my ascendant. And my Ceres, because my Ceres is at 9 degrees as well. So, what is happening with this full moon? I did take some notes on this. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to read you these notes. And then I'm going to kind of just talk about more in detail what's going on. And then I'm going to show you the chart as well. So, we have this full moon in Sagittarius at 8 degrees. And it's also conjunct Antares, which is a fixed star in the Scorpio constellation. It's actually known as the heart of Scorpio. The sun, meanwhile, is in Gemini at 8 degrees, and it's conjunct Aldebaran, which is known as a follower of the Pleiades. So this is actually what I wrote yesterday when I was taking notes on this. This full moon is activating a great opportunity to believe in our own heart. We are being called to embrace our inner child and resonate from a space of joy, peace, blissful, passionate manifestation, and trust we are on the right path. We are being heavily guided through this ascension portal, as the sun in Gemini in the 11th house means we literally will be communicating with entities from other realms and realities. Depending upon our vibration, we can find ourselves rising higher in our light or sinking deeper into our darkness. Either way, this transformation will lead to the establishment of new beliefs. Now, I channeled that, and I just kind of did like an automatic writing on that. So what does that mean? Well, Sagittarius does rule beliefs. It rules the higher mind, education. In many ways, it rules religions, but it rules our belief structure. And Sagittarius also rules what? Exotic places, travel, long distances. I like to think of it as ruling even music and dance to a degree. Which some people might associate that with Pisces, but I like to give it to Sagittarius as well. So whenever you have a full moon, that means that the moon is completely illuminated by the sun. And this means that things are kind of brought to a head. Things are kind of brought to the surface. The sun is in Gemini. And what is Gemini? Gemini rules the mind, communication. It rules the twins. It's like mirrors, you know. Geminis always mirror back to us who we are. That's really that's why Geminis are here. Whereas Sagittarius, it's ruled by, it's the arrow. So it's like we're kind of pointing it towards our destiny. And it's really the journey itself, where Capricorn is really almost sort of like the destination. But then it's funny because the destination isn't always the end, because you have Aquarius in the end, Pisces. So that's kind of the interesting thing about it. Sagittarius is this hopeful energy. Because when does this time come? Well, definitely, at least in the northern hemisphere, this comes at the time of winter. So this is when things are beginning to die. This is when, seemingly the greenery starts to disappear. This is when the flowers die. This is when things become colder, more frigid. So what happens? We hold on to family members. We hold on to the warmth. And we try and salvage that warmth to the best degree that we can. That's why all of the holidays occur around this time with Sagittarius. Because it really is about this family togetherness and gathering and partying and celebrating that which we have accumulated throughout the year. And now that things are beginning to die down, we can kind of almost sort of gather this warmth and hold it so it can be reborn again once springtime comes and once Aries season arrives. But we always get the full moon when the sun is in Gemini. So this is a culmination of the new moon that happened in Sagittarius 6 months ago. At the same time, full moons are also a planting point for seeds. New moons definitely are more of a planting point for seeds, and full moons are more or less the culmination of that seed. But at the same time, I want you to think of the full moon almost as like either transplanting things or also like gathering the seeds from those plants that have grown and planting those. So it's also another planting time and a manifestation point. So this full moon is really resonant with a couple of energies. If you follow step astrology, is resonant with Capricorn energy because it's 8 degrees. But it's also just resonant with just the concept of infinity, because if you turn an 8 on its side, it's the infinity loop. And I believe that this moon right here is really talking to us about our belief in the infinity of who we are. Our belief that we can't die, that this vessel may appear to die or take on a new form after the spirit leaves it, but we can't die, and that death is really an illusion, because we are constantly morphing and constantly going to the next step. After we live this life, we go to the afterlife, right? And then we are reincarnated, and we take on another experience, and then we take on another experience, and then we take on another experience. I think what's happened here is that we have created a society where we've given ourselves this sense of comfort and security, and we really try to hold on to this old ego. But what's happening is that we have to establish a new ego, because this new ego is what's going to allow us to embrace every moment and live it to the best way we can, while also having the intelligence and the awareness that we will die one day, and everyone we love will die one day. But at the same time, we won't, because we go into the next stage. So I believe that this full moon is really honing in on our ability to manifest from our hearts. I believe that this full moon is really keying in on, do we believe in ourselves? Do we believe in hope? Do we trust that we're being guided in the right direction? Do we trust in the universe? Right? Sagittarius, it is the final fire sign of the zodiac, and fire and water are typically more spiritual, and earth and air are typically more physical. So with this mutable air energy and this mutable air energy and this mutable fire energy, it means that while beliefs can sometimes be rigid, they really are actually mutable. What happens is that we like to try and... It's really what happens when actually you move from Sagittarius to Capricorn, because Capricorn is this earth energy and it's cardinal. So it's like, depending upon your beliefs and depending upon who you're following, you really can be guided in a direction that is not in line with your purpose. And I think that's what a lot of people experience, is that we have these beliefs, and depending upon, like I said, who you are following, because Sagittarius, it can be a very, very charismatic leader, but also they could be misguided themselves. That's the thing about it, if they're not aware of it. So, but since they resonate this sense of hope and this charisma, people follow them. They follow them into Capricorn. Then they begin to ground these practices, establish traditions, and then they go in this particular direction, and then they manifest from that space, and then they create order and structure from the space. And this is why the world is the way that it is, because as these energies move throughout, you go to Sagittarius, establish these beliefs, and if we are not really in integrity with our heart and integrity with our higher self, we can end up following false leaders. You know, we can end up following these dogmas that don't really mesh with our spirit. But since these people gave us hope, we feel the need to go in the direction that they're going. And there's nothing wrong with following people. We are all followers and leaders to a certain extent. But I believe that this full moon especially is really going to be illuminating how to follow your unique path. Why? Because I say that the nodes are also involved here. That's why I really say this. Not only that, but this is the first full moon that we are having in Sagittarius after Saturn has left that sign. Saturn has been in Sagittarius for the past 2 to 3 years. Now it's in Capricorn. So really, this full moon is actually kind of the wrapping up of that energy. When Saturn was in Sagittarius, I like to think of it as establishing the labyrinth of the adventure that we are destined to travel on. Because Sagittarius does rule the adventure. I like to think of Saturn as these hard cuts and these hard realities. I like to think of it as a labyrinth. Not a maze, but a labyrinth. Because mazes have dead ends, but labyrinth, there's only one way to go. And that's in many ways how Capricorn works. Sometimes we can resist Capricorn. Sometimes we can resist making hard decisions, taking hard lefts and hard rights. Sometimes we can resist the wall that is in front of us, and we don't necessarily want to go in that direction, but that's the only way to go in order to get out of this labyrinth. So while Saturn was in Sagittarius, I almost like to think of it as the pieces of like this wall were kind of falling in over this great adventure, and then now we're like traveling it. So this full moon of Sagittarius is really sort of like this, the ending in the beginning, where really we are sitting at the gates of this labyrinth. And we're like, wow, we are really about to do this. We're about to go on this grand adventure. I'm really going to discover more of myself. My ego is going to dissolve. And I'm going to become more at one with everything. I'm going to come more to the awareness of it. But that does not mean that there's not going to be challenges. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be obstacles. And the main obstacle with this is whether or not you believe in yourself. Whether or not you believe in your infinite abundance. Whether or not you believe in the infinity of who you are. In your infinite power. This morning when I woke up from my dream, the end of the dream was kind of interesting. I literally kind of felt like Neo at the end of this dream. I was walking through this just kind kind of, not really like a park, but like kind of like in this like city setting, right? And I was walking down this corridor, and like a lot of people had like these guns and stuff, right? And this one guy, I was just walking, like minding my own business, and suddenly this guy just turned his gun on me, and it's like an assault rifle, and he turned his gun on me. For some reason, I only shot one bullet, maybe because I slowed down time in a dream. But he turned his gun on me and shot. And literally, I caught the bullet. And he shot again, and I caught the other bullet. And then, as he approached me, he kind of pulled out this knife, and I actually let him slash my hand, but it didn't hurt. And then I slapped the dude, and then I pretty much took the knife from him. And that's almost kind of what you want to do with this. Especially since this is conjunct Antares, which I'll go ahead and touch on it right now. What is Antares? And I'll even show you when we get more into the chart. Antares is the heart of Scorpio, and it has the nature of Mars. So Antares energy, in many ways, is resonant with this warrior energy. And in many ways, it's like, I can speak on this because I do have my natal ascendant conjunct Antares, right? So you really want to pay attention to the inner warrior that fights for their belief. So with this full moon conjuncting Antares, we're really going to be called into almost sort of the harsh reality that everything is not rainbows and sunshine. It can be, and I believe that kind of striving and almost having the vision of peace is what's going to keep us going, but also having the awareness that we are in a divine war right now. And that means that you have to fight for what you believe in. So this full moon in Sagittarius conjunct Antares is not really going to be great for pacifists. And it's like, you're really, since it's the heart of the Scorpio, it's deep, right? It's really deep. It gets to the heart of the matter, and it's very, very pure at the same time. So really, what comes to the surface today about our beliefs is going to get to the purity of who we are, the heart, the depths. We have to consider that Jupiter right now is retrograde in Scorpio. So it's like, and Scorpio is the 8th sign of the zodiac and rules death and rebirth. In many ways, I like to think of Scorpio as like this infinity point, where it's like the beginning and the end. You know, it's this point in the zodiac where we really, it's the beginning and the end. It really is. I don't really know how any other way to describe it, except for the fact that maybe Scorpio was probably the first zodiac sign created. Or maybe they're all created at once, but Scorpio definitely has this deeper energy about it, this ancient arcane energy about it that is really undeniable and is steeped in mystery. But I think this is going to be more discovered as time goes on. The Sun in Gemini is conjunct Aldebaran, which also has the nature of Mars, but this one is a little bit different. It's more like decorated honors, like medals, purple hearts. So when you have Antares, which is more, it's a little bit more rash. Antares is a little bit more, it's a little more chaotic in its expression, whereas Aldebaran is a little bit more polished in its expression, but they both still have this warrior-like energy. So this is definitely going to be coming into the aspect of how can we really begin to express our beliefs and stand on our truth and know when it's okay to be a little bit more rash and blunt and when it's okay to be a little bit more polished. I think this is going to be a great lesson in alchemy because Sagittarius in Tarot rules the Temperance card, which is really about alchemy, balancing the light and the dark. And I even said at the end of this, where was it? Hold on. Depending upon our vibration, we can find ourselves rising higher in our light or sinking deeper in our darkness. Either way, this transformation will lead to the establishment of new beliefs. So we all have light and dark. And you honestly want to embrace both aspects of this. There's like this kind of push to resist the darkness, but this full moon is actually going to bring your darkness to the forefront. But it's also going to be like, well, how can we alchemize this energy? How can we work with our darkness and work with our light so we can manifest our true self, right? And we can manifest this adventure and this great journey that we're on. We have to realize that, you know, you can't resist the dark, you know. You have to sort of embrace it, you know. And it's like, embrace it in a high vibrational way. Now, that might not make sense, but I want you to think about it like this almost. Air and fire signs are usually more on the masculine energies, which is typically, you know, the yang energy, right? And then you have your yin energy, which is usually the earth and water energy. And that's going to be that more of the female aspects, the light and dark. So it doesn't necessarily mean that masculine is necessarily light and feminine is necessarily dark, not at all. But what this is saying is that we have to learn how to work with these energies. The feminine energy is naturally a receptive energy, and the masculine energy is naturally a more giving and protruding energy. So we really have to learn this give and take, this ebb and flow, because life is an ebb and flow. It's an ebb and flow. And a lot of times when we are presented with our darkness, we like to resist it. A lot of times when we're presented with our darkness, we resist it, but we don't realize that it's by going into that darkness that we find the heart of Scorpio. And in that heart of Scorpio, there's actually a great light. There's actually a great truth in there. But what happens? We are afraid to go into those depths, right? This is definitely a time of transformation and great metamorphosis. Metamorphosis of a special kind. It really is. Because we are really taking, and I'm going to make a weekly astrology video about this later, but this week is really a crash course in Alchemy 2.0. That's what I want to say. But this full moon in Sagittarius is really a metamorphosis of our beliefs, and our belief in ourselves, and our belief that we are definitely being guided, and our belief that everything is going to work out. This is definitely going to be a test in hope, faith, you want to dance it out. This will be a great day to dance it out and have fun. Let's continue on. So I wrote this other part too. So the other aspects about this full moon is the fact that the sun is going to be sextiling the north node, and the moon is going to be sextiling the south node. And this is what I wrote about this. This mystic rectangle is our guides literally showing us our destiny and guiding us to believe in our hearts, to believe we are worthy of the infinite abundance bestowed to us by Source. The North Node will be in the first house, meaning our destiny will be personified through our actions today and over the next 6 months. We may encounter new friendships with those who reflect these actions we take. The moon sextiling the South Node speaks to us connecting our hearts and emotions, bringing our beliefs to the forefront to be examined. This will be shown in our relationships as the South Node is in the 7th house in Aquarius. Are your relationships able to withstand change and innovation? Can you see yourself with these people in the future, and do they understand and understand your need to be uniquely you? We are fighting to be uniquely us. We are literally fighting for our right to believe in ourselves. That's what this is about. We are fighting for our belief to believe in ourselves. That's crazy, right? It seems like that shouldn't be something that we have to fight for. But we do. Think about it. Think about how many times you have been disregarded or resisted by other people. Think about how many times people have told you that you can't do something. Think about how many times people have doubted your abilities. It's happened to all of us, but think about how many times. Now this is all really coming to the surface, and especially now that we have Chiron and Aries, our egos are certainly being challenged, but at the same time being healed by all the things that have happened to us. We are really being called to be uniquely us, and it is by being uniquely us that we are going to attract experiences and people into our life that really understand, because We are all connected on the inside. That are really going to understand our need and our nature to be innovatively and unapologetically ourselves. And you might even, your beliefs with other people might even be slightly different. I'm being called to think about the boar right now, who happens to be a totem animal, Sagittarius. And the boar actually speaks to whatever traditions others hold on to you, only to yourself be true. The boar stays true to themselves. Doesn't matter what anyone says. The boar stays true to themselves. And this energy is really speaking of, I want you to almost think of like Pumbaa, because Pumbaa's like a warthog, so Pumbaa almost kind of resonates with this. It's kind of funny with Pumbaa and Timon, because it's almost like Pumbaa has a little bit more of the moral compass of the two. And Pumbaa, eats bugs and, seems to be, he passes a lot of gas and flatulence and, seems to scare away a lot of the animals. But at the same time, Pumbaa remains true to himself. And he has this great singing voice. And like I said, he kind of keeps Timon in line because he's a bit more of the moral compass, right? So that's really what you want to do, is that no matter what people project onto you, no matter what shadows people project onto you, and I'm not going to say darkness, I'm going to say shadows. Because we all have darkness, and that darkness is not inherently bad or evil, right? But whatever shadows people project onto you, based off of their own beliefs, based off of their self-limiting beliefs about what you are capable of and what you can do, only to yourself do you be true. You may consider what they say, but don't take it to heart. Because it's the moment that you take it to heart that you really damn yourself. And I literally mean that you damn yourself, cutting yourself off from the energetic flow that source is trying to give to you. Which it's already giving to you. It's just you're not aware of it. So you damn off your awareness of your infinite capabilities. The moment you begin to adopt someone else's belief in what you can do, you kind of damn yourself off. And I'm going to even go as far as to say that even if they believe that you can make it, because it's good to, of course, surround yourself with people that do believe in you. Absolutely. And you want to consider this energy more. I'm trying to wrap this around. But even then, they still have a limited scope on what you're capable of. But if you tap into the quantum reality of who you are, only you know just how capable you really are. So that's really what I mean by, even whether it's positive affirmation or negative affirmation from other people, you still want to just remain true to yourself. That's really how you're going to begin to magically manifest this reality, right? Now, I'm going to pop on over to the chart and show you just what's happening here, and even read some of the degrees, because I think it's really, really important. Alright, so here we go, guys. We have this full moon. It's 10:26 as I'm making this, so technically this apexed about 7 minutes ago. So we have the moon right here in the 5th house, in Sagittarius at 8 degrees, and we have the sun here opposing it in Gemini in 11th house at 8 degrees. As you can see, it's on top of Aldebaran, and the moon is on top of Antares. At the same time, you can see that the moon is actually sextiling over to the south node, and we actually have the sun making a sextile over to the north node. So this is really incredible, and the reason why I say it's in the 5th house and why our hearts are really being activated, I like you to think of this because it has the ascendant at 29 degrees of Cancer. So this is really some edge. This is some real true emotional edge that we are experiencing with this full moon, because we are really, I like to think of Cancer as a portal. So it's literally, I feel like what this is that we are literally right at the precipice of this portal, and we can see the new level that we're about to walk into, and we're just like, damn, can I do this? Yes, you absolutely can, by the way. You absolutely can do this. So I want you to look at this. I want you to think of this as the collective house right now. We all have different houses, you know, like for example, like I said, my ascendant is Sagittarius. But for the purposes of this reading, I like you to think of this as like sort of like our collective energies. So collectively, we right now are at the ascendant of Cancer. That's where it's all beginning. So the 5th house is naturally ruled by Leo. Interesting enough, right? And the 11th house is naturally ruled by Aquarius. So that's where the South Node is. So it's kind of interesting how this is all playing out, to really think about it. And it's interesting because, you know, we do have the trine here from the Moon to the South Node, and the trine here from the Sun to the South Node. It's all connected, guys. So our hearts are being activated greatly, and our belief in our hearts, you know, our belief in our heart, our belief in the inner child, our belief in that aspect of ourselves that really just wants to be, right? I'm going to go ahead and read Antares for you, and then I'm going to read Aldebaran. Antares, rival of Mars, is a double star, named from the bright red color of the primary, and is the brightest star in the Scorpius constellation. It is associated with rashness and violence. Antares makes people tough, belligerent, and aggressive. This is an important star for military personnel, and don't leave just yet, and is said to confer strategic ability and courage if well aspected. Its nature is Mars and Jupiter.
Thanks for waking me up. I have a new flower coming in.
Oh, you do?
You want to see it really quick?
Yeah.
What I need? I doubt I'm gonna use it, but
I love you.
love you too.
We are back. Fiance was leaving, and you know I'm still rolling and still filming, but that's okay. You know, I'm not even gonna bother editing that out too much. Maybe just edit something into it. But anyways, Antares has the nature of Mars and Jupiter. So it's interesting because Mars is a traditional ruler of Scorpio, and then you have Jupiter, which happens to be in Scorpio. So this is really bringing out these deeper desires and wants, but also this deeper pull to really, because Scorpio, it really is this magnetism. So it's like this deeper pull to really express our beliefs, this deeper pull to really, express our beliefs and express from this point to really, not compromise ourselves. And yes, like I said, it makes people tough, belligerent, and aggressive. It's interesting because as someone who has this conjunct my ascendant, I don't know if I come across as tough, belligerent, and aggressive to people. I don't really know if I come across as that. I also do have a Pisces moon, so that's kind of interesting. Let's read Aldebaran. Aldebaran in Taurus is follower of the Pleiades, and the right eye of the bull. It is the brightest star in Taurus, and of the nature of Mars. It is associated with public or military honors and courage. It can also denote extraordinary energy and ambition. In conjunction with the malefics, could bring danger and loss through water, floods, natural disasters, and drowning. So, interesting enough, like I said, it's the sun that's illuminating the moon. So the moon represents in many ways our emotions. So emotionally, we might be feeling a little rash. We might be feeling a little of this push to really express our beliefs, but we might do so in a bit of a rash, maybe a little bit of a chaotic way. And Aldebaran is kind of reminding us to, definitely, of course, have the courage to be us and have the courage to gain this knowledge and this awareness of who we are and of our belief structure, whether we have self-limiting beliefs that hold us back, whether we are surrounding ourselves with people who have that don't really believe in us, But also, of course, reminding us to sort of balance these energies, because while both do have the magnitude of Mars, we have to look at where Mars is actually. Mars is right here in Aquarius. So Mars is really looking to revolutionize and look towards the future, and it's conjuncting the South Node, or it's coming into the conjunction with the South Node. So yeah, there's going to be sort of like this push to try and, people are going to feel this need to kind of push their beliefs on you, and going to like this need to like almost be a little bit like, why don't you believe in this? Like, it should be obvious that you believe in this. So it's like, with the South Node in Aquarius, there definitely could be this weird push to kind of fall into the crowd and fall into the masses. But really, you want to embrace the uniqueness of who you are. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the degrees of the sun, the moon, and the north node and the south node. And you can't really see it because there's a lot going on here, but there is a mystic rectangle right here, which is, like I say, it's a letter from the universe, and it's almost like a gift. Like we're opening up a gift today. It's almost like kind of like Christmas in many ways today. It's like, or any kind of holiday that you open up a gift, it could be a birthday too, but it's like, really, we are being born anew today. We're going through this major metamorphosis. So let's go ahead and read the moon, Sagittarius, and the degree for it. Alright, this is the revised Sabian symbol for the 9th degree of Sagittarius. A woman helps a child up a ledge on a winding path through the forest. From their perspective, the morning star can be seen in the soft glow of dawn. Wave showers leading young souls into the light of higher understanding, intuitive grasp of archetypal or symbolic signposts along the spiritual path, astrological or new age interests, establishing bonds of trust, guardianship, being honest and dependable versus leading people astray. They know more than the people they lead, but may nevertheless be lost themselves, or may have impure motives. This is what I was talking about earlier about the whole energy moving from Sagittarius to Capricorn. If people do have impure motives, they can really start to establish policies and traditions that don't really resonate with the higher frequency that we are trying to establish and trying to really integrate. This is why Pluto's in Capricorn wrecking all this shit right now. Following one's political or spiritual ideals, blazing a trail versus having to cover one's tracks to escape from persecution. And that's what you're experiencing right now. People are trying to escape this persecution because they know that they have been perpetuating this order and this way of being in society for such a long time. And now they're trying to really cover the tracks. But like I said, Pluto's wrecking this shit right now. Taking a problem step by step versus getting ahead of oneself. Picking one's way through a tricky situation versus dangerous muddle-headedness, snares, ambushes. Spiritual or political support groups, giving and receiving aid. Alright? This is really powerful because, this, like I said, this is really us coming more into our oneness with Source and really establishing our divinity. And now we're going to be starting to surround ourselves with support groups and, this giving and receiving aid, the ebb and flow of life. This is what's being illuminated. Where's the sun right now? It's in Gemini. Let's read this. The ninth degree. Revised saving symbol for the ninth degree of Gemini. A medieval archer with pointed beard and feathered hat detects something moving behind a stand of trees. He quietly dodges through the trees to get a better fix on his target. Hand-eye coordination necessary to the skillful use of tools or weapons. Zen-like coordination between mind and body, so alchemy, versus being overly tense and high-strung, hair-trigger reaction to stimuli. I think this is what you might see today, and people are going to manifest this over the next 6 months based off of the direction that they take, is that people are really, and you're already starting to see this, but people are being like really overly reactive to external stimuli because they're not finding that peace within themselves, but instead they react so quickly to this external stimuli. Having an intuitive hunch and clarifying it by collecting all the facts, bringing an issue or a problem into sharp focus versus being able to see the forest for the trees. Identifying factual inaccuracies, logical fallacies, or moral oversights. Argumentative quibblers. Pointed observations that hit the mark, come to premature conclusions rather than waiting for a solution to emerge. Seeing through devious schemes to a person's underlying motives, guarded, vigilant. Trusting one's understanding into a practical course of action versus feeling lost in the woods, tactical maneuvers. So this is really like, we're going to be kind of moving through this forest, I see, and depending upon your level of peace within yourself, you can be sort of trigger happy and then kind of give away your position a bit. You're going to give away your position and then you're going to kind of just get attacked. And like I said, we are in this spiritual divine war right now. So it's like, this is really a time that we are gaining more of our power. At the same time, if you're trigger happy, you're going to kind of alert these dark forces to you. And they're going to come after you. They're going to come after everybody, but they're going to come after you, especially if you are really trigger happy. And you're just reacting to the stimuli without really thinking things through. And you're really just sort of caught up in logical fallacies or these moral oversights because you believe that you are right and they are wrong. This is not really about right and wrong. This is about high vibration. That's what this is about. Now let's read the North Node of Leo at 7 degrees. In a busy salon, a cowboy stirs up the crowd by loudly condemning the actions of the mayor. Standing up to oppression, passionate reaction to every form of villainy, refuse to be silenced, express their views no matter what the consequences, take on all comers. Willingness to fight for one's beliefs, daring to take up a challenge, since one is nothing more than what one dares to be, tactical retreats. Recounting stories of human heroism and martyrdom and the ongoing struggle to redeem humanity, giving one's all to a cause versus suffering burnout, strutting one's stuff, talking a good line versus putting one's money where one's mouth is, engaging others intellectually, emotionally, or sexually, poor control of their passionate impulses, promiscuity, and brawling, inciting others to stand up for their rights, moral and physical courage. Excuse me. So, this is definitely speaking to us standing up for what we believe in and standing up to the oppression of our belief in ourselves. That's really what this is speaking about. But also doing so in a way that is intelligent and is really it's intelligent emotionally, it's intelligent physically, mentally, and sexually. I'll even say sexually too. Yes, there is such a thing as sexual intelligence, absolutely. And then we have the South Node in Aquarius. A dress designer and her coarse but practical assistant stand before a mannequin displaying a fancy court dress. They critique it and plan various alterations. Having high standards of beauty, taste in political idealism, Ivory Tower esteems who have a hard time accommodating the vulgarity of the world or even their own desires. Interesting. Uniting the refined taste of the cultural aristocracy with the crude frankness of the working class. Being up on what's going on in the world of art and politics versus becoming a genuine participant in these arenas. May withdraw into nature and live vicariously through books or films. Perfecting one's art to the point that it looks as inevitable as nature. Polishing one's act versus feeling trapped in a persona that is artificial and conformist. Stiff dignity versus letting one's hair down to express one's deepest feelings and ideas. Imitating the ideal. Perfecting oneself without betraying one's true nature. Perfecting oneself without betraying one's true nature. Unrealistic perfectionism. I think what we are learning is we have to sort of release this idea of perfectionism. And that's because our idea of perfectionism is based off of what we have created in this human vessel. We don't really know what true perfectionism is. And honestly, true perfectionism is simply just being who you are unapologetically in every moment. But we have created instead other ideas of perfectionism that aren't in line with the true definition of it. And truthfully, you can't even define it, because the moment you define something, everything outside of that thing that is defined ceases to exist. And we are constantly expanding and moving and evolving and growing. Well, there's an ebb and flow that we expand and contract, but we are constantly morphing. So this idea of perfectionism that we have is a false reality. And I'm sure you can feel that if you have tried to conform yourself to this idea of perfectionism, it messed you up. You know, to put it bluntly, it kind of fucked you up. The moon self node in the 7th house is you experience difficulties with partners and relationships. So that's what's happening. I think it's like, but like I said, we do have the moon sextiling the energy and the sun trining the energy. So it's like, really, this is about establishing a better relationship with ourselves. And by establishing that better relationship with ourselves and trusting in ourselves and believing in ourselves and our own capabilities, we can do anything. That's what this present is. That's what this mystic rectangle is. And need I remind you, we are coming into a very, very mystical and powerful grand water trine later this week. So this is really a week of really discovering your power and your truth and realizing that you are powerful. You are a god. You are a goddess. You are connected. And once you begin to really believe in your heart and really begin to manifest from that spot, you can do anything. You really can. You can push through anything, but it doesn't come without a cost, because as you raise your vibration, these darker forces are going to come at you. They're going to buck at you. But what are you going to do? Are you going to respond and be like, oh no, I'm going to go back to the old way? Or are you going to be like Neo and be like, huh? You're just going to hold up your hand and their bullets are going to just fall at your feet. And you're going to be like, is that all? And it's like they may even try to buff up and get to the next level, but you're going to the next level. We have to consider that as you evolve, we think that these issues and these challenges that come up against us, they only seem to get bigger. But at the same time, you have grown. You have leveled up. You have evolved. Okay? Very, very incredibly powerful energies right here. And another thing that I want you to do is, like I said, since we were at the edge of this portal, and as you can see by the sign, the ascendant was 29 degrees of Cancer. You really, and since the North Node was in the 1st house, all of us over the next 6 months are really going to be personifying through our actions and our behaviors, our destiny, and our belief in our heart, and our belief in our destiny, and our belief that we can make it. You especially want to pay attention to anyone who has, of course Sagittarius is, but anyone who happens to have their rising there. Because these individuals are really going to personify this full moon in come 6 months. These individuals are really going to manifest their belief structure it's going to be apparent. And this happens with every full moon and new moon. The reason why I'm channeling this now is because, like I said, my ascendant is right here at 8 degrees. So this full moon is literally on top of it. So it's literally what I'm feeling right now is this ego death, but at the same time, this rebirth. It's been quite intense. It's been quite interesting experiencing this death and rebirth simultaneously on such a direct and like profound quantum way. But you really want to pay attention to this. But like I said, every new moon and full moon, you really want to pay attention to, of course, the people who have that sign, but also the people whose ascendant is there, because they're really going to act out that manifestation. They're really going to act out that behavior. So this is going to be a time where, like I said, we are establishing new belief structures and examining old self-limiting beliefs that no longer work anymore, that hold us back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an oracle card for each of the signs, and I'm going to get out of the video because I do have some more videos to make today, and hopefully I can get this uploaded. And I also do have a reading that I'm doing today with someone. Someone's reading my chart, and I'm really excited for that. And I'm using the Sacred Traveler Oracle card because you are a sacred traveler. If anything, that's really what's coming out. It's like Sagittarius rules travel. You are a sacred traveler. And Gemini rules short distance travel too. Today, I encourage you to travel. And that does not mean that you have to book a trip to Hawaii, although that would be great, even though they're like exploding right now with volcanoes. But go on an inner journey. These two cards just came out, so this is for the collective. Travel lightly, which is simplify your life, and uncovering treasure. Beneath the surface lies great bounty. This is what's happening really on a deep level. Travel lightly. You know how you can travel right now? You want to know how you can travel right now? Sit, take a couple of deep breaths, and just be. You will travel farther than any other time in your life if you just sit and breathe deeply. If you literally just sit with yourself and do this deep breath from your diaphragm. You just breathe deep. And since Gemini is here too, you know, any type of affirmations that you want to do or any type of chanting or singing will really be powerful too. Even just doing some ohms will really get you to travel. And this is really traveling lightly. And this will actually take you super far. You know, just going into a... See, I was gone. And uncovering treasure, and they'll come up today too. It's what lies, you know, beneath the surface lies great bounty. So that is a great way to, you know, travel. So I'm actually gonna put those cards out to the side because those are like the collective cards. So let's go ahead and draw cards for each of the 12 signs. I hope you all have enjoyed this video so far. And of course, make the best use of this full moon energy. Whether you express your darkness or your light or both, depending upon what direction, know that you are practicing alchemy. And know that it does not necessarily mean that you have gone to one side or the other, because like I said, we all have both energies. This is really a great lesson in alchemy and temperance and integration of these energies, and how we really can use both our lightness and our darkness to bring great awareness to ourselves and the world at large. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to actually start this reading with Cancer. I'm going to start this reading with Cancer. Alright. Just because that's where the ascendant was for the reading. So I'm going to start with Cancer. So Cancer, the card for you that we have is Stepping into Power. Amazing. You are strong beyond measure. Cancer, yes, we have a lot of energies. You know, we have Venus in your sign right now, and of course the moon will hit Capricorn later this week and oppose Venus in your sign. So really, you definitely are stepping into your power. This is literally you stepping into the portal, and then it's like you are in the new reality, and it's like, oh, by the way, this attribute got raised a few points, this attribute got raised a few points, this attribute got raised a few points. You have like a new sword that has like a new ability. You actually now can you can create this like water orb in your hand that can actually heal. So really, this is, like I said, stepping into your power. You are so much stronger, and this goes really for everyone. Like I said, this is where the ascendant was for the collective energy, but for you, Cancer especially, you're really going to be personifying this, stepping into your power, and that you are strong beyond measure. Measure. You can't measure it. Think about measure. Measurement. Mente, mind. So it's like the mind can conceive a lot, but the mind is still limited. And we have to learn that, like, we are not our mind, we're not our body, we're this infinite spirit. Infinity can't be measured. It cannot be measured. You are strong beyond measure, Cancer. Very beautiful. Alright. Put that off to the side. Now, alright, Leo, we have infinite abundance. Abundance is pouring into your life. This is really when you're speaking in this full moon that you, of course, like I said, the North Node in Leo is in the first house of this reading. So you really are going to be personifying the abundance that comes to you when you really believe in your heart and you really begin to radiate that love. I don't really need to say much of anything else, Leo. You really are going to bring that and manifest your infinite abundance. It's pouring into your life. There's so much of it. When we really begin to believe in ourselves and radiate that love from within and out to others. And Leo, you really want to be personifying this and showing people that what happens when you establish this true belief in yourself and this belief that your connection to Source is divine and that you can connect and that you are worthy of that abundance. All right. Virgo, we have surrendering to the journey. Release control. So this is kind of interesting because Virgos definitely like to control a lot of the details and the facts, and they definitely like to have things kind of in order, but this is mutable earth, so things are changing. Things are morphing right now, Virgo, and really you are going to be coming into this need to sort of release control. Kind of go on an adventure, go on a short vacation, actually release some of the details to other people to handle. That might be kind of crazy. You might not necessarily want to do that, but this is really about you really having faith and trusting that things are going to work out if you actually relinquish a bit of that control that you have. And really, this is what's actually going to allow you to travel far, because as you hold on, if you hold on, you really can't travel. You really can't go anywhere, right? Libra, we have ascending the mountain. Keep going forward. Keep moving forward, Libra. Keep going forward. You really are going to be showing people and personifying the strength that it comes from really, believing in yourself. And Libra, you're kind of coming into this time where you almost need to be selfish. And it's kind of interesting because really you are definitely concerned about people, peace, and harmony. But the only way that you're going to establish this peace and harmony with other people and really begin to show people this balance is really by finding it within. So keep going and ascending that mountain. Keep moving forward. That's all you really have to do with this energy, because you really are going to show people, and then you're going to be surrounded with people that really begin to, see like, oh, This is really what happens when we really begin to believe in our truth and stand in our truth. And Libra, so you don't really want to outsource your truth and your beliefs to other people. You don't want to live vicariously through others. You want to keep going. Notice how he is by himself. He is alone. So yeah, you might be going on a path where you might definitely feel alone. You might feel a little ostracized. But I promise you, if you keep moving forward, you will find yourself in a very beautiful place where your belief in yourself manifests the life of your dreams. Scorpio. Scorpio, we have discovering truth, which is you stand in the light of truth. Scorpio. This is really speaking to, in many ways, Antares in the heart of Scorpio. So you're going to be expressing definitely over the next 6 months and manifesting what happens when you really stand in this deeper truth. And a lot of people aren't going to understand it because you're willing to go to those darks and those depths to really pull out that really deep truth. But it's within that spot that you're really going to uncover this really deep treasure. And it's also great because Jupiter is in Scorpio right now. And this is really uncovering these deeper desires and these truths and these treasures. So the fact that this is happening right now for you, discovering your truth, for the full moon, standing in the light of truth. Do not compromise yourself. Do not compromise yourself, Scorpio, because you are really going to show people what happens when they have the belief that they can make it through anything. No matter what is thrown at their way, they can make it through anything, and that they can transmute any type of darknesses or shadows or negativities that are thrown at them and reveal the light that is within that. Sagittarius, we have rejuvenating rain. Clear the past, heal the present. That's really what this full moon is about. This is about healing the past, healing these old belief structures. This is about clearing it out and healing the present moment and really getting into the present moment and really believing in ourselves again, really beginning to establish hope, trust, and faith in the universe. Rejuvenating rain. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, Sagittarius, because you over the next 6 months, you're really going to start to feel more positive again and really more in line with that Sagittarian energy. Because as someone who has their ascendant here, I will say that a Sagittarius who is depressed is one of the saddest things to see. And the reason why I say that is because Sagittarius comes out to Scorpio. And Scorpio deals with these depths and this darkness and these taboos, which don't have to be a bad thing. But it's like if you come through all that darkness of Scorpio and you get the Sagittarius, and that Sagittarius with that energy is depressed, when it's supposed to be hopeful and uplifting, it's like it's really a blow to your confidence. So Sagittarius, you're going to be establishing more confidence because you're going to be clearing away the past and releasing the past. That's going to allow you to heal the present, become more into the present moment, and begin to express from your inner child again, so you really can embrace the infinity of who you are. Capricorn, we actually have solitude here. In silence, peace prevails. Capricorn, you're going to be making moves over the next 6 months, and you do not want to announce all of your moves. Some moves you're going to probably announce, but you definitely don't want to announce all your moves, because Capricorn, you are really coming into a period where you are going to start to establish your legacy and begin to right a lot of the, I say right the wrongs, there are no rights or wrongs, but you're really going to be start taking a lot of the rubble that Pluto is creating in Capricorn and really start to build it and morph it and alchemize it so it actually creates a new structure that is a high vibration and is more conducive for humanity in our overall direction. But like I said, you're going to be making moves over the next 6 months, and you do not want to announce all of your moves, because when you do that, you let the energy out of it. You kind of want to harness that energy. So in silence, peace prevails. It's also going to give you a sense of peace when you come more into silence. Over the next 6 months, you really want to establish more of this connection with yourself and really establish this inner peace. Aquarius, the card that we have for you is staying focused. It's kind of funny how Libra got, keep moving forward, and now we have stay focused. I wonder if Gemini is going to get smiled often. We'll see. But it says stay focused. So hold the course. This is really about, people might not understand your quirkiness, and that's to be expected. You're trying to integrate this really high vibrational energy of Aquarius into this world. In the age of Aquarius, you're bringing this seed forth, and you're really going to be planting it of your belief in yourself and your belief on why you even incarnated as an Aquarius in the first place. So stay focused, hold the course, keep going at it, Aquarius, because you are really bringing something truly magical. Pisces, we have miracles. This is amazing. Expect the wondrous to emerge. This is incredible. This is really, Pisces, you are really being asked, and you kind of do this already because you're just super magical. It's kind of amazing that we have like a genie, and I really like to think of the genie as like being associated with Pisces. So this is really about, Pisces, just put yourself in the vibration of miracles. And you want to know how you do this? Go look at yourself in the mirror. Literally, and everyone can do this. Go look at yourself in the mirror because you are a miracle. Put yourself in that vibration. Look at yourself in the mirror. Smile, laugh, jump for joy, dance, sing, and just resonate that. Because especially when you go to the mirror and it's reflected back to you, it creates a hyper manifestation of this miracle. Aries. Aries, we have Mystic Healer. So it's amazing because Chiron is actually here right now in your sign. Healing energy flows through you. So you're going to be personifying throughout the 6 months. And of course, Chiron will retrograde back into Pisces by the end of the 6 months. But you are really, this healing energy is really going to be flowing through you. So how you're going to be healing the collective is literally through your actions. It's literally through your behaviors. Because if you really establish this belief in yourself that you really are infinite, abundant, that you can do anything, you're going to be taking these actions that really reflect that. And that's actually what's going to heal you and also heal the collective. You're going to show people that they can behave and really adopt this new way of being. So this healing energy is really going to be flowing through you, Aries. It's really going to be flowing through you. You might not even realize it. You might not even be aware of it, that you're going to be healing a lot of people over the next 6 months. But it's going to happen simply by people just being around you. Taurus. Taurus, we have first light. This is beginning a new cycle, and it's interesting because, like I said, Uranus is here, and by the end of the week, Uranus will actually move to the first degree of Taurus, technically. So literally, you are beginning this new cycle of manifestation, and you are really beginning this new cycle of taking these quantum downloads from Uranus. And when you augment that and conjunct that with a belief in yourself that you really can manifest this, you're going to just be manifesting left and right your beliefs in the physical. And sure, you might have a new house, a new car in 6 months. You might manifest a new job. It's going to be amazing because you're going to really bring it to the physical, and people are really going to literally see your belief in yourself. But it's like you're beginning this new cycle. And for Gemini, we have answering the call. The time is now. I guess this could be smile offs, and can I twist this to work in my favor? This is really just you answering the call. Like I said, this is you answering the call from Source, the call from the Divine. And to consider that the Sun is in the 11th house of this. So we literally are communicating with these entities and from other realms. So Gemini, especially you're going to start to receive this telepathic connection with your guides and to the spirits and the angels. And now is the time. Not yesterday, not even tomorrow. Now is the time. Now is the time more than ever to believe in ourselves. Doesn't matter what happened in the past. Doesn't matter what anyone has said. Now is the time to believe in ourselves. And you, Gemini, are really going to personify and show people what happens when you really dive and, put yourself in the moment and answer the call and just be unapologetically yourself right now and radiate that love right now and become that love right now, because you're going to answer that call right now. The time is now. The time is now to believe in ourselves. The time is now to believe that we can do anything. The time is now to believe in the infinity of who we are right now. It's always been right now. We're just becoming more aware of it. That is your reading for this full moon in Sagittarius and Swagittarius. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you would like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to theaquarianadams.com. Remember, just feel today's energies, go with the flow, dance, sing, laugh, because you are amazing, you are beautiful, you are creative, you are divine, you are energetic. So energetic. You are infinite. It's time to celebrate, because it's time to come into a new you. And I can't wait to see how we manifest this. Anyways, like I said, that's your reading for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to keep moving forward. To stay focused and Yahoo! Smile often. Oh.